everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, April 10th, 2022. Hey, Adam, is it okay if we frame you for framing Ashland? Yeah! Is there any way that I could hang on to my CEO title for a while longer? Then yeah! Okay! What could go wrong with this plan? I don't even know why Victoria bothered to ask Adam if it was okay. She had already put the plan into motion before she decided to bring the family up to speed. And there's just something going on with Victoria right now that I can't quite figure out, but she's given all these shady looks, and it kind of makes me wonder if she's up to even more than we know about. Is she trying to just get revenge on Ashland, or is she trying to get revenge on Adam? Is she trying to get revenge on Victor, or all of the above? The first clue this week was the fact that Victoria didn't seem to mind the fact that Victor put Adam into her CEO position temporarily, okay? But the fact that she didn't seem to mind at all, barely batted an eye at it, makes me think that she has really seriously got something going on. Like, she's okay to let Adam hold the reins? Only Adam doesn't want to just hold the reins. Adam wants to glue himself into the seat permanently if he can. He's over here trying to make plans with Sally to be the best damn CEO that Newman has ever seen. And clever Victoria is telling Ashland that, she suddenly thinks that maybe Adam could be the one who's framing him. We better stay in Genoa City to get to the bottom of this. So darn, no Tuscany trip. No Ashland pushing Victoria off the balcony in Tuscany. No Victoria pushing Ashland out of the private jet on the way to Tuscany. The private jet never even left the tarmac. Victor made sure of that. Victor grounded the Newman jet due to bad weather somewhere. Somewhere. Nikki, by the way, questioned Victor's reasons for naming Adam as the temporary CEO of Newman instead of, say, naming her as the temporary CEO. She's the co-CEO. Pretty good point that maybe she would have been the logical choice. But now, Victor, I wouldn't want you to be sending Victoria the wrong message, like you don't trust her. Well, I'd say that's exactly the message that Victor wanted to send to Victoria, and it was message received. All the more reason for her to want revenge on him and, well, everyone. Adam is the only one who didn't seem to get the message that his title change is really just a scarecrow. Victor's not really interested in Adam's plans for the company. Oh, he'll take a good idea, but he made it really clear to Adam that he put him in this role just to keep Victoria's seat warm, not to go making any changes. And Ashland essentially told Adam the exact same thing when he rushed over to Newman Media to make sure that Adam knew that he was just the babysitter CEO. Ooh, the babysitter CEO. I thought that was hilarious and a really great scene between Ashland and Adam. I think they have a really great rivalry to watch. And by the way, Adam again invoked the name of dear Harrison Locke, which means that Kyle and Harrison are surely going to be arriving at Genoa City International Airport any time now. I'm waiting for it. On Friday, Victoria called a family meeting while Ashland slipped away, snuck into Adam's office, popped open Adam's laptop, and entered Adam's password, I'm a vampire 123. And got in, no problemo, started snooping around. In fact, Adam let Ashland get into his computer to start snooping around. And now here's where it gets really interesting. All we saw was Ashland doing some typing and taking some photos of whatever it was he saw on screen. But nothing more. That's all we saw. So either Ashland is going to plant some evidence on Adam's computer, which is what the Newmans are counting on, some kind of evidence that will suggest that Adam had set Ashland up, or I'm kind of wondering if there could be a dark horse twist here. What if Ashland actually finds some evidence that Adam was the one who's setting him up? I would be totally okay with that. I would be totally okay if we found out that Adam was behind all of this all along. Because back at the office, Victoria is filling in the family on the plan, which is to let Ashland frame Adam and then bust Ashland for it, and then invoke the morality clause that Ashland had put into his own co-CEO contract. Then Michael has found this clause, saved the day. Oh my gosh, did you see the way that Michael entered the office and slammed his jacket down into the chair in a victory slam? He was just so pleased with his own brilliance. Michael was so pleased that he had found this clause, and he just smacked his jacket down on the chair like the unbearable weight of his own brilliance cannot be handled. Michael Baldwin is just beyond cool. So Adam agrees to go along with this plan if it means that he can squeeze a few more weeks of being CEO of Newman Lock out of the deal. You know, just to make Victoria's plan look real. And she agrees to it. But what I'm wondering is, what if, at the end of it all, Adam finds a way to invoke a morality clause and have Victoria booted out of the company permanently? Victoria did let the fox into the hen house, so maybe Adam can make that argument to the board, to the ghost board. The board that only matters when it's convenient. Or if all else fails, Adam can just buy the problem away. We saw in the previews for next week that Adam is offering Ashland $500 million to just go away, to give up his title, to walk away from Victoria, to just take the money and run. Oh, I think Ashland's response to Adam's offer is going to be very, very telling about what Ashland is up to. But what I really want to know is, how is Adam going to come up with $500 million lickety split? Like, if Adam has $500 million, why does he need any of these people? Why does he need any of this hassle? And where does Adam keep his $500 million? Is it stashed under his mattress at the ranch? Stashed under his twin-sized mattress at the ranch? In his bedroom with his autographed Baywatch poster above the bed? Oh, you guys didn't know that Adam is a huge Baywatch fan? Well, now you do. Chelsea bought Connor tickets to a hockey game, then got called out of town on business. Oh no! Now Adam can't take him either, so Connor's soon-to-be dead stepdad steps up to the plate or onto the rink or whatever, sports. Go sports. Oh, Ray will save the day for Connor. Why? Why are we getting rid of Ray now? Now, of all the times, why are we getting rid of Ray now? Just when it feels like the writers have finally figured out what to do with him. Ray's conversation with Chance at the coffee house this week was so natural and so revealing. Ray actually talked about how he feels being on kind of the outside of Sharon's family sometimes. And Ray also listened when Chance echoed a lot of those same emotions when it comes to his current situation with Dominic and Abby and Devon. That conversation felt so organic. It wasn't forced at all, and I feel like the way it was written was very believable, like the two tough guys would have said all of that stuff. It wasn't overly emotional, it wasn't overly intimate, it was just two guys who trust each other talking, and I feel like we need more of that, not less. And with Ray being gone so soon, I also just am at a total loss now for what this will mean for Chelsea, because so much effort is clearly being put into establishing Ray's bond with Connor and shifting Chelsea's character away from being the woman who poisoned Ray. Chelsea had this really friendly chat with Abby this week, and Abby commented on how well Chelsea is doing, how much Chelsea has changed, and how great it is that Chelsea and Ray have become friends. And then Chelsea and Sally also had this really surprisingly civil conversation where Chelsea said that she's okay with whatever type of relationship Adam and Sally had, and she's not feeling threatened by them. She's not a threat to them. I mean, that's quite a turn for Chelsea's character, and now it feels like it's all gonna be for nothing. I just don't know what will happen to Chelsea when Ray dies. I just can't wrap my brain around any of it. Oh, I just had the most fantastic idea. What if Chelsea and or Chloe and or Sally design the dresses for the Mariah wedding? Surely that is going to be the case, right? Surely we are going to get some kind of fashion competition out of this. I mean, if we're gonna get two dresses or two wedding outfits out of this shindig, we cannot pass up the opportunity for some fashion drama. Some fashion Friday the 13th drama. Oh, when I saw the preview for next week where Mariah and Tessa are announcing their May 13th wedding, the very first thing I did was grab my calendar, flip it up to May the 13th, thinking, is there any way this is going to be a Friday? And sure enough, I thought, oh, they wouldn't dare do a Friday the 13th wedding, but sure enough, Friday, May 13th is the date. That is crazy. Who would pick a Friday the 13th wedding? Mariah and Tessa, that's who. I kind of love it, though. I kind of love the idea. I'm not going to lie. I'm sort of hoping that Y&R picked it for a reason and that they're gonna lean into it, because I think it would be really fun if the girls picked that date, made a bunch of plans around it, and didn't realize that Friday the 13th is what it really is, that it's a bad luck day. It's like the worst day to pick for a wedding. And then I think it would be interesting if, and maybe kind of cute, if there was a bunch of paranoia around their Friday the 13th wedding leading up to it. Like, everybody kind of worried, is it going to go off without a hitch or not? And then on the day of the wedding, maybe there's a million little insignificant things that go wrong. Like, the cake is terrible, the food is late, and instead of a DJ, they end up with a polka band or something. And then Sally switches one of the dresses. I don't know, just a bunch of little stuff. And then in the midst of all of this Friday the 13th bad luck chaos, Mariah and Tessa realize that the only thing that really matters is their love for each other. And then the ceremony goes off without a hitch. Wouldn't that just be perfect? Like, love despite chaos. The Mariah and Tessa story. I'm loving these cool Winters family vibes we're getting right now. Nate and Elena look totally natural in that penthouse. It's like they should have been living there all along. It totally fits them. And they had a cute impromptu housewarming party with their new neighbors / family this week. I keep thinking, yeah, that's not gonna get annoying real quick. Running into your family every time you open the front door. No thanks. I get enough of my family like once a year. Christmas. Not every time I open the front door. Oh, well, everybody was at the party except for Lily. It's too bad that Lily and Billy's apartment isn't in the same building, too. Or maybe Y&R could establish that they're really close to each other, because that could be fun. I'm worried about Lily and Billy, though. I'm starting to get a feeling that there could be some trouble on the horizon for them. Because, like it or not, Billy is very much steeped in Victoria's bad brew right now. And I'm really loving his long monologues that are giving us some insight into what he's thinking about the whole thing. I like that they don't all have to be in the podcast studio in front of his microphone, because on Friday he was just doing some stream of consciousness talking. And even though I really don't like seeing people talking into their phones, Jason Thompson somehow is pulling it off for me. And Lily overheard him talking into his phone, recording himself, having this stream of consciousness thinking. And she seemed to understand that he's not wrong to be concerned about Victoria. I mean, Victoria and Billy share kids. They share a history, and they could all be in danger. In fact, Billy warned Victoria this week that she might be in immediate danger. She's the only thing that's standing between Ashland Locke and Ashland Locke getting what he wants. And nobody would put it past him if he did something to her to get her out of the way. Victoria assured Billy that she has a plan and he shouldn't worry, and that she is going to make sure to get Ashland away from their kids. So we have Victoria verbally expressing here that she has an active plan to get this man out of her life, but that doesn't stop Billy from worrying. And Lily was very quick to tell Billy that he's not responsible for Victoria, not responsible for Victoria's decisions, that Billy's not obligated to save her from this situation. But I think that deep down, Lily can definitely see that Billy wants to save her. Phyllis just could not bear to not be involved in Jack's personal drama, so she flies to LA and surprises him at the bistro. And Jack tells Phyllis that Diane is still alive. And first of all, can we please just appreciate Phyllis's reaction to learning that Diane was still alive, where Phyllis said, "No, Diane is dead. She's burning in hell." But it wasn't even just what she said, it was the fact that she said it with absolute sincerity. Like, maybe it brings Phyllis a little bit of comfort on occasional days where she's feeling down, just to know that, oh, Diane is dead and she's burning in hell. That right there is the genius of Michelle Stafford. I mean, it is an underrated, understated comic delivery there. Like, oh no, she's dead. She's burning in hell, obviously. It's just so good. So good. Michelle Stafford was so good as Phyllis this week. So present in all of those scenes. I feel totally back on board with Phyllis. And I'm feeling back on board with Phyllis and Jack in their romance and their relationship. I'm starting to turn the corner. At first, Phyllis thinks that Jack has lost his mind when he tells her that Diane is still alive. She's like, you're going under some kind of stress here right now, Jack, and that's understandable, but Diane's dead. But then he explains Diane's dupe and that now she wants a relationship with Kyle as the repayment for procuring his granddaughter for him. And surprisingly, Phyllis's reaction is, well, if that's what Diane wants, she's gonna try to get that with or without your help, which is true, because we saw Diane making a phone call pretending to be Kyle's Aunt Ashley, and she was able to get Kyle's private number. So it's true. Phyllis was right. Diane was gonna do this with or without Jack's help. So Phyllis drags Jack over to Chemo's house to see the devil for herself, and the look on Phyllis's face, coming face to face with Diane for the first time. I didn't know you were in LA. I didn't know you were still alive. Oh, it's just so good. And then we launched into this really fun set of flashbacks highlighting the rivalry between Phyllis and Diane and showing us all kinds of new millennial hairstyles. Oh, we got the short and choppy, the short and curly, all the sassy hairstyles. And we got so much pool time too. Can you even believe it? Back then, it was just bikinis all summer long, every day of the week at the pool house back then. And I'll be damned, that scene of Phyllis jumping up onto the diving board, whipping off her robe, and showing Jack and Diane the full frontal, it was just a reminder for me of why I fell in love with this show in the first place. I feel totally justified for wasting my life on it now. I wouldn't trade a moment of it. And it wasn't just the, fact that Phyllis had this audacity to whip off her robe in front of them. It was the look on Jack's face, like, yum, looking at her like he wanted to take a bite out of that. And Diane looked shocked and horrified, but also like she couldn't look away. There was a part of her that looked a little intrigued by it all. Susan Walters was so good in that. She reminds me a little bit of Sheila Carter. I keep thinking that throughout the week because Diane, like Sheila, has these moments of total sincerity where you actually kind of want to root for her and you actually kind of want to believe that she's being honest or that she's trying to change or whatever the current story that she's trying to sell is. But then it doesn't take very long for you to be reminded that she's evil. I mean, Most of those scenes that we saw in the flashbacks were about Diane actively trying to ruin Jack and Phyllis's marriage and using little Kyle to do it. And as I mentioned last week, Diane also ended up burning down the pool house and trying to frame Phyllis for it. So Diane is no angel. But if everyone else gets to change, if everyone else gets their second chance, then why not Diane too? Back into the present day, Phyllis was sitting there and at Chemo's house, making sure to let Diane know how satisfied she is with herself, telling Diane about how much she has matured over the years. Well, I mean, if everybody else gets a second chance, then why shouldn't Diane get a second chance too? The fascinating new element here, though, is Allie. Because whether Allie knows it or not, she is going to become the shoe that gets Diane's foot back through the Abbott door. Allie's father is dead. She would give anything to find out that he is still alive, which he is. And based on the previews where Allie is telling Jack there's something he needs to know, I'm sure it's going to be like real soon, probably next week or next month, whatever. I can wait a little while longer. But coming back to Allie, in Diane and Kyle's situation, I think Allie sees a chance for a parent to be reunited with their child, and a child to be reunited with their parent from beyond the grave. That is something that Allie wants so badly, to be able to defy death and to have a reunion with her parent. Ugh. Plus, Allie has not been burned by Diane yet. Allie doesn't really know any better. She's a little naive here. I think Allie is going to be very empathetic to Diane's situation, while everyone else in Jack's life is going to be walking on eggshells around Allie, because Jack needs this relationship with his granddaughter. So I think they're going to be giving her leeway, and they're going to be trying to make Allie feel comfortable. And if Allie feels comfortable with Diane, then it's enough to maybe get Diane's foot in the door. And you know Jack is going to do that little dance too. Billy foreshadowed it during those Abbott sibling scenes that kind of framed the clip show. I mean, the flashback episode did kind of feel like a clip show, didn't it? I mean, we had the Ashley and Tracy and Billy sitting around, and even Tracy saying, "Hey, remember the teardrop of love? Well, maybe it's finally working its magic 2 years later," or however long it's been. I was all for everything except for the teardrop of love stuff. Don't even think about starting up with the teardrop of love stuff again, Y&R. You're doing so well right now. Don't ruin it. I was really, in fact, impressed with those Abbott sibling scenes, and specifically because of Billy and the things that Billy was saying. He had the description of himself that he was an outsider among the Abbott family. He was talking about Allie's situation, and he was relating it to himself as feeling like the outsider Abbott because he had a different mother and because he didn't have the close relationship with John that the other siblings had. And I thought that was very, very poignant. I thought that was very self-aware of Billy, and it applies to Chemo too. Chemo also felt like the outsider Abbott. It's just so self-aware. It's like Y&R has become so very aware of itself all of a sudden, and I think it was very well evidenced in that Abbott sibling scene. It somehow feels like the folks who are in charge of the show are really watching the show right now, and it feels like such a refreshing change. I have to say, it's been refreshing to watch. This week was so easy breezy. I mean, it was basically 2 stories, an A plot and a B plot, the Newmans and the Abbotts, and for me, that makes it another gold star A+ week. Always think 5 steps ahead. Who said it? Why, that was none other than Victor Newman Jr. Always think 5 steps ahead, says Adam. Ooh, I thought that was going to be kind of a tricky one, and it was. Only 3 people guessed that it was Adam. Pretty much everybody else guessed that it was Victor, and you were close. It was just the Victor Jr. So I have to give big congratulations to Henry, Juanita, and Embreen. Always think 5 steps ahead, says the son of the chess player. We never see Adam playing chess with Victor. Maybe we need to see more scenes of that. Oh, here is another little snippet of a line that feels appropriate for the week. You tell me if you know who said it. The naked ambition. Who said the phrase, the naked ambition? Naked is just a word that sticks out to me, and I wonder if it sticks out to you. If you think you know who said it, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. And now it's time to read your comments, starting with Leslie, who says, I adored the scenes with Billy and his sisters today. I can't get enough. I think I enjoy watching the family and friend relationships much more than the romantic relationships, which is why I'm not a typical soap fan who enjoys that. I'm not a fan of the PDA in real life or on screen. Well, that's interesting, Leslie. I think probably in the past I would have put myself into that category too. I definitely didn't start watching Y&R because of the romances. I was more interested in the family dynamics and the business stories and stuff as opposed to the romantic relationships. But over the years, I definitely have enjoyed them more than I expected to. I think Y&R warmed me up to that, but I didn't consider myself the typical soap fan. I definitely felt like soaps were a little hokey back in the day, and for some reason I got turned around on the romance. But I think you're right. The family stories are really, really appealing, and I think that's what makes Y&R special. Gary says, I think it's a teeny tad disingenuous of Ashley to drop into town again with such concern for her brother. It is very well and good, but I think of all the many other Abbott events she has chosen to distance herself from living in Paris, not to mention having all but thrown her brother over as not even a true Abbott of a few years back, and now this is her dire concern that Jack may be taken advantage of by a con artist granddaughter. Yeah, Ashley's kind of hit and miss, isn't she? She's all in here for Jack and the con artist granddaughter, but there's so many other moments that she hasn't been present for. Namely, mostly what's been going on with her own daughter. That's what she really should have been concerned about. I don't think Ashley said boo about the custody arrangement situation. Why don't we have Ashley move back from Paris? At least so that she can kind of ceremoniously be part of Genoa City. I think that would be a good idea. Well, Victoria says, I thought it was odd that Allie went back to her former home to talk with Diane. I can understand her wanting to ask Diane about the Abbotts. However, I'd consider my source. Diane used Allie and went to extremes by purchasing her childhood home just to ingratiate herself with Jack. It would give me pause. I'd want other people to be around in case Diane wanted me as a bargaining chip. No doubt about it. It wasn't very smart on Allie's part. And it kind of speaks to the point that I was making last week, that Allie almost seems really desperate for a friend. And for some reason, she sees something in Diane. And maybe it's what I was just talking about, that there is something about Diane that makes you want to believe her, kind of makes you want to empathize with her. She is the underdog, and Allie doesn't really know any better. I mean, Allie didn't see all the flashbacks that we saw this week and last. But, I mean, the girl definitely doesn't have a whole lot of common sense to go back to the house after Jack has warned her that Diane is dangerous. But Allie doesn't really even know if Jack is dangerous or not. She just doesn't know anyone in this situation, and maybe she'll end up trusting the wrong person and becoming allies with Diane, and that could be part of her undoing. T. Nicole says, I wasn't watching the show back when Diane used to be on, but these flashbacks are great to learn more about the character's backstory. I actually laughed out loud and loved the scene where Diane tried to seduce Jack into the pool, and then Phyllis comes in and strips down. Michelle Stafford is gold. I almost don't even remember her being that much gold, like from back in the day. But looking at it now, I can't believe how good that scene was. I can't believe how good Phyllis was there. Phyllis was always desperate to hang on to her man back in the day, and that was definitely part of that. She was desperate to hang on to Jack, and Diane was just as desperate to woo him away. Did you see, like, Diane in her bikini and Phyllis? Did you see Phyllis sitting on the couch in her lingerie with her newspaper? I mean, they were babes. I mean, they still are, but we were getting all kinds of millennial babes back then. Babes in bikinis for the summer. I loved it, and I loved that pool set and the pool house, and the moment where Diane's peeking through the blinds from the pool house watching Jack and Phyllis skinny dipping. That was so much fun. We need a pool set. We need a pool set again. Daisy says, I really like Diane Jenkins being back. Phyllis seeing Diane after all these years was one of the best scenes ever. I am so looking forward to seeing what's in store for Diane, particularly between she and Phyllis. I think Diane's reintroduction into the show is partly what is selling me back on Phyllis and Jack. I don't know what happened, but for some reason it clicked with me again this week that I would really like to see Jack and Phyllis back together. Maybe because now we have something to overcome. And her name is Diane. New topic, Diana says, I love how Nate and Elena have decorated the apartment. It felt like it was a different place than when Adam and Chelsea lived there. I'm very happy for that, as I don't want to be reminded of when Chelsea was in the wheelchair living there. Elena managed to make it feel cozy, as she had new pictures on the walls and new colorful couch pillows. She did not bring along Nate's purple lamps, so I guess we will not know what those looked like. Now all we need is for Imani to show up late one evening when Elena is working late. I don't have to spell it out, as you know what comes next. Oh, those purple lamps. Maybe they're upstairs in the bedroom or something. But I totally agree with you. I really love how natural Nate and Elena feel inside of that apartment. I think Y&R switched it up just enough, and they explained why they didn't totally revamp the set. They said, well, Nate's house, the old house, had more of a older traditional style, and so we decided to keep some of the furniture because it went with this style of this condo and this apartment. So I think they both look really good in it. I think Y&R changed it up just enough to make it look different. And yeah, I can't wait till Imani shows up at the door. Oh, Victoria says, Elena looked lovely in her dark, sparkly jumpsuit. She had gone all out on making the apartment romantic, and she didn't even look flustered when Amanda and Devon came in to welcome them as neighbors. However, when handsome Nate came in, she lost her sparkle and furrowed her brow. She wasn't celebrating when she gave her cringeworthy toast. I think Elena has some unresolved feelings about Nate leaving the medical profession. I don't see her leaving Genoa City Hospital anytime soon to join him at the new merged company. Yeah, that might be a little bit of a sticking point for Nate and Elena in the future. Maybe she is resenting the fact that he left the role at the hospital and is not saying much to him about it. But Elena in the jumpsuit, I mean, blow me back. She could have stopped traffic in that thing. I can't believe how good she looked. It was almost navy blue because it was giving me Starry Night background. She's so beautiful, and she looked so beautiful in it, and I love her short curly hairstyle. She's such a model. Her skin is so like perfect and creamy, and she just looked so good this past week in that formal attire. Hey, we gotta say, Elena always brings it for formal attire. Anytime there is a party and Elena shows up, she looks good. She doesn't get as much screen time lately. She doesn't have as much of front burner story, and maybe she will here in the near future. As you say, there could be some tension between them, but when there's a party, Elena shows up appropriately dressed. Sherrod says, so Y&R has set Friday, May 13th for Tessa and Mariah's wedding date. I think we all know what that means. The joke's on those who thought this was going to happen. Now, I am convinced more than ever that somebody is going to get hurt or killed at the ceremony to prevent this marriage from taking place. And sadly, I'm not surprised in the least. Oh, you think the Friday the 13th is going to be like a horror show? Who could get killed? Well, it could be Ashland, could be Ray. I guess it hadn't even really dawned on me that something could go terribly wrong. It really hadn't even dawned on me that the wedding might not end up taking place. So I think, Sherrod, you have inspired this week's poll question. Let's ask the chatters, do you guys think that Tariah will actually tie the knot? Do you see this marriage actually happening, be it on Friday, May 13th or any time before in case they decide to change the date? But do you think they're actually going to get married? YRChat.com. Let's make that the conversation for next week and all throughout the shows next week, because I'm assuming that we're going to see Mariah and Tessa talking a little bit more about the wedding next week. So you guys let me know if you think it's actually going to happen. Oh my goodness. What if that's when Ray dies? What if there is some kind of bad juju event and Ray gets involved in some kind of nasty police bust and the bad guys track him down to the wedding and kill him at the wedding? Oh my gosh, that seems really sad. I don't even want to think about it. Of course, I'm assuming that Ray is gonna die. I just can't see any other way around it, but I don't know. Diana says, I believe this is the first time that Ray has expressed aloud that he feels like an outsider when it comes to Sharon and Nick and their family. Ray mentioned this to Chelsea when they were talking at Society, and I'm wondering if this scene was foreshadowing Ray finally giving in to his temptations where Chelsea is concerned. It would almost feel like a waste if we did not see Chelsea and Ray become intimate after all this gradual buildup of their relationship. I really hope we do see them get together before the actor leaves the show. That's a good question, Diana. Do you think that Ray and Chelsea will hook up before Ray exits the canvas? I almost don't see it happening. I just almost feel like Y&R is going to give Ray the hero's goodbye, and maybe that's why I'm imagining that he's going to get killed in the line of duty, and then we're gonna have a whole lot of mourning. I'm imagining that they're not going to tarnish his character with an affair on the way out, but it's possible. I mean, they might make it so that Ray and Chelsea give in to the temptation, and Ray is so overcome with guilt about it that he runs off and leaves Genoa City forever. There's definitely a possibility that that's how the direction that it could go, and you make a good point that we have had some pretty good build-up toward the Chelsea and Ray relationship, and it would be a shame to just let all that chemistry go now. I don't know why they're letting it go at all. Well, let's flip over to a new topic here. Ellen says, Nick, you are so disrespectful to Adam. Is this nasty speech supposed to inspire loyalty? You have a very twisted idea of appealing to your brother's sense of honor and duty. Insulting and provoking a person, then adding a few weak compliments isn't a strategy. Where is the Nick with the warm Supergirl type of pep talk? Oh, I forgot. That's just for the people you actually consider to be family. I would have told you to go kick rocks. What a lunkhead. That's the best part of the comment. Lunkhead. Literally the best possible word that could be used to describe Nick is lunkhead. And I don't know why I've never thought of it before, but you really nailed it there. Yeah. Nick put Adam on notice. He said to him, I know you've done a lot of bad things, but you've done a lot of good things too. And I hope the good things guy is the one that shows up to this party. I mean, because Nick needs Adam to be a Newman when it's convenient for the Newmans. I mean, the thing is, has Adam been deceitful in the past? Yes, but it's been years ago at this point. I don't know how many babies Adam has to save from burning buildings that are sucked up inside of tornadoes before the Newmans will actually give Adam a shred of the benefit of the doubt. Then again, to be fair, Adam is quietly planning a Newman Enterprises takeover over here with Sally. But that's just business, right? That's just all in a day's work with this family. Sherrod says, the way the Newmans treat Adam is exactly why I was hoping that Ashland took them down. They continue to treat Adam like crap on the bottom of their shoes. I'm tired of Victor always getting his way. Also, why has the lies that Victor and Victoria told about Billy not been addressed? First, Victor lied about Billy sleeping with Amanda, and then Victoria lied that she was the one that talked Billy out of continuing with the con to trick Adam. This is ridiculous that Victor still wants Victoria in charge for something that she actually did, but took away Newman Media from Adam for something he didn't do. This makes no sense. I wish Adam would team up with Ashland and take Victor and Victoria down. I never thought I would say this, but right now I am loving Adam more than Nick. Nick is becoming a bully like his father. Holy cow, I would love to see Adam and Ashland team up too. That's a really good idea. Man, wouldn't that flip the script? Adam and Ashland actually working together to overthrow the Newmans. Ooh. Well, Victoria says, I actually gasped when Victor reprimanded Adam for coming up with an idea to merge the two media companies. It felt so parental and unfair instead of reasoning with Adam and showing appreciation for his thinking. Victor was dismissive and abrupt. On another note, I couldn't believe Victoria put Adam in harm's way by telling Ashland that Adam could be framing him. Adam has gone out of his way to support Victoria, and now she's using him like a pawn. I hope Adam has a get-out-of-jail-free card. He may need it. So do you think that, do you think that everybody's going to go through with the plan to let Ashland make it look like Adam framed Ashland, but then in the end, they're not going to clear Adam's name. They're just going to leave him whipping in the wind. I can't imagine that Victor would let that happen, but Victoria could double cross. Nick could double cross. Ashland could come up with something that could leave Adam now whipping in the wind, and maybe he could end up with some kind of fraud charges at the end of this. Yeah, it wasn't very good that Adam agreed to be the pawn in this way. It takes an enormous amount of trust, and I'm not sure that Adam does or should really trust the Newmans with this one, especially at this level. But, I mean, Sally was kind of talking him into it, too. Sally said, was it Sally? Yeah, she said, if you don't do something, none of you guys are going to have the company. Ashland is the threat. You have to bond together. You have to do something to get him out, or you're not going to have a company to try to take. Daisy says, I'd like to see Victoria and the Newmans work together to take back everything that's theirs. But Victoria, having been duped, will not be easy for her family to overlook, especially for her father. So I wouldn't put it past Victoria to use her revenge on Ashland to get back at someone else as well, just to prove that she's worthy to be CEO. Victoria realized her plan will not only get Ashland out of the Newmans, but that she can use this moment to get back at someone else who hurt her deeply, Adam. Yeah, and Victor, I'll add to that, because that's kind of the vibe I'm getting too, is I think Victoria, probably her number one focus is to get Ashland out of the way, but I absolutely think that she would backstab Adam and Victor and Nick if she needs to, while she's in the process of it. Ellen M. says, I still can't believe that Ashland's addition as co-CEO was valid. Documents of much lesser value have to be witnessed and notarized and approved by a board of directors, of which Victor and other family members are undoubtedly still members and officers. Yeah, that board is very ceremonial. But don't you remember a couple weeks ago, Adam mentioned the board of directors, and then this again, they talk about the board of directors. That makes me wonder if Adam is going to find a way to flip the script on them and have Victoria booted out with a morality clause that's in her contract. T. Nicole says, it's so interesting to see how Victoria has lost any softness she once had for Ashland. I can sense the slight more coldness in how she acts and talks toward him, as if she knows she has the upper hand. I've been sensing the same thing too, and there was a part of me that's thinking, is there any way Victoria would have framed Ashland to get him out of the way? I don't know. I'm still of the mind that Ashland is being framed, so I'm still trying to figure out who is doing it. But yeah, Victoria has had a very notable change in the way that she is acting with Ashland. But let's get down to the bottom of this Ashland issue, starting with Sue W., who says, well, okay, now I'm waffling, but now I'm believing a fake cancer Ashland is the scum of the earth out to neutralize Victoria and yada yada. But I gotta say, I'm really liking Robert Newman more and more each scene, while his character is proving more and more reprehensible. Robert Newman is looking more and more vibrant and believable as he morphs into more dimensional, evil, and nuance. Side note, he even looks younger these days, more in keeping with Amelia H. Anywho, I find myself now hoping that he sticks around. If there's gonna be an Ashland murder, I hope he survives. That kind of LOL, that thing can happen on soaps, right? I'm becoming a Robert Newman fan. It's funny because this week it seemed like I got a barrage of very negative comments about Robert Newman, just saying that they didn't like him in the role and, you know, your usual run-of-the-mill internet unhappiness. But I agree. I think I'm starting to get more used to Robert Newman in the role, and I am in the minority thinking that Ashland is being framed. That was our poll question for last week. I asked you, is Ashland being framed? 75% of you say no. He did it. Only 25% saying yes. I can't believe I'm this far in the minority on it, because every time I look at Ashland, all I see is a guy who's now more and more determined to find out who actually is framing him, and I see him as legitimately thinking that Adam could be the one behind it. All the meanwhile, in the background, I think it could very well end up being Jesse Gaines or Tara Locke or somebody. I mean, just for some reason, and maybe it's more so the fact that I imagine Y&R wants to keep Robert Newman around. I just can't imagine that we're going to find out that he was faking cancer. That's so awful. And I just think, they gotta make him a romantic lead. I mean, if he's on this show, they've got to make him a romantic lead. I just can't imagine they're going to leave him with this I faked my cancer thing hanging over him. Then again, there was a couple times this week where people mentioned Adam faking his blindness, and he went on to be a romantic lead. So I guess soap characters have come back from a whole lot worse. But boy, I don't know. Everybody seems to think that Ashland is not being framed. Marianne V says, I don't think Ashland is being framed. Why would he have Michael arrested? The only thing that still bothers me is that he was sick a few times when he was alone and no one was there to see it. Yeah, I mean, I think Y&R didn't know what they were going to do with the character at that time. It almost seemed like they were suggesting there was a possibility and there was rumblings about him faking it, but I don't think even Y&R knew what they were going to do back then. But yeah, and then we're back to the issue of why would Ashland have Michael arrested? Diana had said last week maybe it was just to buy himself some time, but we did also have that great scene where Michael and Ashland came face to face, and I just loved that. I am so into Michael right now, and I want to see Michael get his revenge, but at the same time, I also wouldn't maybe mind finding out that Michael was wrong. Victoria says, I don't think that Ashland is being framed. His past behavior points to him being duplicitous. It also points to the fact that he, like Victor, carefully plans many moves ahead. I know an argument is being made that Victoria should have seen this coming, but a part of his plan was to be very sincere. However, this incarnate of Ashland is quite standoffish with Victoria. Rarely does he kiss her. He just proclaims his love in the same manner and asks for total trust. If he was truly innocent, it would be easy for him to prove that to her. Yeah, if he was truly innocent, why can't he prove it? Why doesn't he have any evidence of this whatsoever? How hard would it be to find some records of the chemo treatments? How hard would it be to produce one of the doctors or anybody who administered him any of his medications or treatments or anything? He's given us nothing. Diana says, I voted no by mistake. I can't help but feel like there's gonna be a twist and Ashland really is being framed. I know the show doesn't do twists often, but I feel like Ashland really is being truthful with Victoria. What doesn't go with this theory, though, is why Ashland would want to kidnap Michael if he's innocent. I'm hoping there's some kind of twist there, too. Yeah, that's really where I'm falling on it. I'm just waiting for the twist. I'm waiting for the twist, and maybe I'll just be waiting forever. There's also a possibility that Ashland could have a murder attempt. I mean, maybe he really did it, and someone's going to end up killing him. Sue W. says, if someone kills or attempts to kill Ashland, as many not so thinly veiled character dialogues seem to foreshadow, then what? Of course, a whodunit, and then what? Number 1, dead Ashland. Boo-hoo, everyone rallies around Victoria. She heals, while the L of NL is dissolved and squabbles continue over the CEO position. Or 2, Ashland lives, either as an actually cancer-ridden with chips falling from the exposed setup, or as a true cancer charlatan, and then what? Good Ashland wins back his fair lady, or I suppose bad Ashland could move on with Diane Jenkins? Oh, man. Imagine that scenario. Maybe Ashland lives, maybe Ashland survives an attempted murder. He is revealed to be the bad guy that everybody thinks he is, and then he hooks up with Diane Jenkins. I kind of like that crazy idea. Bad Ashland and bad Diane creating their bad seeds together. Oh, well, what do you think of them apples? What do you think of them bad apple seeds? Oh, there's always something good going on at yrchat.com. There's always some kind of good fan theory. You should go there and read some of those fan theories. Go there and leave some of those fan theories. I love reading your comments. I think that does it for me for this week. I'm just totally in love with Y&R. It's been so easy for me to watch. It's been so easy for me to comment. It's just a total dream come true for me, and I can't wait to see where we are next week. Just having the Newmans and the Abbotts on my screen has felt really good. I love the addition of Allie onto the show, into the Abbott family, and I'm looking forward to finding out what the deal is going to be with the Mariah wedding next week. So we've got a lot of good stuff that's coming down the pike, and May Sweeps is going to be here soon. So is someone gonna die? And if so, who's it going to be? Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's a lot to look forward to here. All right. Well, I will look forward to seeing you guys next Sunday. I hope you have a really good week. I love ya. Bye.